I'm super excited for this project. Actually, this project has been one we've had done for
a hot minute.
Months.
Yeah, it's been done and like
since before summer started.
I think you just finished it early because like I don't think we rescheduled it. I think you just got it done and then we were like, okay, on to the next thing. But it's so cute.
Yes.
So cute.
And we're going to be learning how to use our Cricut to cut bonded felt. If you've never cut felt before, this is going to be one that you can cut with your Explore series or with a Maker series. So because we are going to be bonding the felt first, so we don't have to use a rotary blade for this. And then I'm going to be teaching you a very easy, it's kind of more like an embroidery detail.
Yeah.
Like it's not really even something that you have to do. Like if you're not comfortable with it, like
it's cute without the embroidery part to it, but it's like up a notch with the embroidery.
Oh, like takes it from here to here kind of thing.
Yeah, it's still really cute though.
Yeah, so I'm going to be teaching you how to bond your felt to cut it. A little quick tip on how to save your mats from felt.
I love this tip for any fabric that, like leather, we've done with leather. Felt in particular though is and terry cloth.
Yes.
With our Stony Clover letters.
Yes. And then also I'm going to be showing you what to do, because if you've ever embroidered before, you know that embroidering on like t-shirt material, 100% cotton, and or not a canvas or thick material can be tough. So I'm gonna be showing you how to add a backer to your material so that you can easily embroider on t-shirts and things like that. So super excited about that. Also, while doing my research and getting prepped and like, I guess, recognize, like getting ready for this, refreshing myself on this project.
Yeah.
Which you guys know, like we are research queens here in the office. Like research.
We can't even control ourselves.
Makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
I did not know that Cricut, because we don't have one in this office.
No, we do not.
Do not have one. And it is a marketing ploy. It is very good marketing on Cricut's part.
Yeah.
And
honestly, in my brain, I'm like, you have persuaded me. Well, just tell them what it is.
Okay.
So they can know.
Cricut has a bonded fabric blade.
Okay.
Let that sink in. A bonded fabric blade. And when you look on their website, do you want to know what the only difference is?
Tell us.
It's pink. To match your pink
fabric
mat. It is literally a fine point 45-degree angle blade that's pink. That matches your pink fabric grip mat.
Now, if you're a sewer, then I know that you have your special sewing scissors no one's allowed to touch, and I think that's the concept that they're going off of.
That's 100% the concept. I don't know what the price point is. Is there a difference in price point? So listen, we have fabric scissors. Like that is if you are, which I know all of you all are crafters, that is like the big, like you don't do that. You don't use your paper scissors to cut fabric. You don't use your fabric scissors to cut paper. Like
it's the rule.
They're separate.
It's the rule.
It is the cardinal rule. Like you don't do that. So I mean, I 100% get where it's coming from.
I'm trying to find. It's $34.99 to get a bonded fabric blade and housing. What about
housing? It's the same housing as your fine point blade.
Not according to Cricut.
Okay. Well, if anybody here has or have used a bonded fabric blade, aka a pink fine point blade, please let me know, because I would like to know. I don't see that. It doesn't look different, so I don't think there would be a different housing.
I mean, I can put a piece of colored strip around my fine point blade, and have two fine point blades.
Yeah. So basically, what it said, the research I did, it said that the bonded fabric blade is pink to match your pink fabric grip mat, so that you do not get them confused.
I mean, it's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing.
Maybe. So, y'all, I mean.
So cute.
I love
think
it.
That's so stinking cute.
So let's go overhead, and so you can we can show you guys. So this is what we are going to be making today. Y'all, this is so easy, and you could make these and sell them so quick.
Oh yeah.
Like this is the kind of like the muted tones. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it's very, very cute. And the colors.
How much would you have paid for one of these for Rubes?
Probably like, I don't know. I don't want to lowball it. Okay, 8.
Okay, let's think. Let's go back to number 1. Let's think. Somebody, if you were not a crafter and you really wanted, you could do custom colors on your felts. You could have someone, because all this is you literally type out a name.
Yeah.
In Cricut.
Yeah. Like, I think I would probably spend like $20.
$20, $25?
$20 to $25, yeah.
I think I bought this pack of onesie. It was like a pack of 3 on Amazon for like $10 maybe.
Yeah, very inexpensive to get the onesies.
So these would be a really good turnaround. You can literally, if you all have never tried embroidery, this is a great start for embroidery. Now, let me just say, it is a great stitch. The stitch that I'm going to be showing you guys today. The stitch, so we've got somebody that says 15, someone says 35. I think 25 is a good medium.
Yeah, and it's going to depend on your demographic too.
Yeah,
and because really, some people will in your area, unless you're selling on Etsy to like the world.
Yeah.
You know, if you're selling local, you need to see what your people want to spend on it, really.
So this is what I'm getting at is the stitch that I'm going to be teaching you guys today is the basic like main stitch if you've never started embroidery, that is great. However, the fabric is one that you may want to start and try your hand at embroidery on a canvas fabric first. But we are going to be adding a stabilizer to this, which helps tremendously. So we're going to get into that. But now here is one. I have it on the hoop. I've just started 2 stitches. So we'll go overhead with this one. Here is one if you didn't want to add the embroidery to it. You could just straight up, and it's still super cute this way.
Like I think so.
You can still do this. Now, you wouldn't be able to charge $25 for this one. This one is probably more of a $15 one.
Right, because the embroidery is what takes so long.
The embroidery is what takes time, and the embroidery is the part that you are going to charge the most for.
Yeah.
So if you added the extra embroidery stitch, then you're going to charge more for this one than you would this one. So, I mean, there are 2 different options, but you can get different color of the onesies, do different color felt. This is just the one I was feeling right now. You can always do a different color stitch throughout. You can do one that has more of a pop, and it's not, I just did more of a monotone kind of with this one.
I love those colors.
Listen, I'm obsessed with these colors.
Everyone's prices are so different. We've got a 15 and a 35, and someone paid $20 to $30 for one. So, like I was saying before, if you're selling locally, I think it's good to like pay attention to your demographic and kind of go from there.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you're selling on Etsy, this is not a great, I don't know if this is a great tip, but this is just like a personal tip. I go on Etsy a lot of times and find similar products to whatever I'm making and see what other people are pricing it at. And I feel like that's a good way to kind of get a feel for if you're overpricing or underpricing your products, because you can easily underprice yourself, which I feel like is more often what happens than overpricing.
Yeah.
So that's just something I do to help.
So let's go ahead. Now this is hand embroidery. So if you have an embroidery machine, I just noticed where Diana said I have an embroidery machine. Listen, if you have an embroidery machine, there are so many things you can do with that.
Oh my
that's one thing I wish I had.
Yes.
I'm more of a hand embroiderer, so this is going to be a hand embroidery detail, which does take more time. So let's go back overhead, and I'm going to show you everything that you're going to need. So obviously we have our onesie. I got this on Amazon. It was a pack of 3. You can do these on t-shirts, really whatever, but we just wanted to do it on the onesie for the babies. Of course, I have my embroidery kit. You do not have to have a kit for this. What you do have to have, however, is your embroidery floss. This color that I'm using is just the Ecru, if that's how you say it, E-C-R-U. I think that's how you say it. Anyway, it's just like this cream color. As far as the gauge needle, I think I'm using a this is, I think, want to say, I'm not going to tell you what gauge needle this is. Honestly, I have all different gauges, and I don't want to get confused. I have different gauge needles. This is about a mid. It's not a tiny one, but it's not a huge one because, once again, we are going to be using this on like a t-shirt material. And then this, to me, is an absolute lifesaver when it comes to embroidery. This is a needle threader. Now, this is more of a fancier one. You don't have to have a fancy needle threader. Just a plain needle threader will work. So if you are doing hand embroidery, to me, a needle threader is a must. It cuts down on so much time. We do have our felt. This is Benzie felt. You all know we love Benzie felt around here. This is just a color that we have. What we are going to be doing, we are going to be adding heat and bond. So we don't have it in the pack, but this is what the brand looks like. It's heat and bond. And I'm going to be showing you how to use this and add it to your fabric. That way you can cut this on your Explorer Series Cricut or on a Maker Series Cricut. The bee needle threader that I got this at the Hoblob.
The Hoblob.
Hobby Lobby for those. I like to call it the Hoblob. I got this at the Hoblob. It was, they have a line, and I cannot remember the name of that line. It's not Be Creative. It's something. Anyway.
Something with a B.
Listen, I tried to find some cutesy needle threaders to link for you guys because I knew you guys would ask me about this. I couldn't find any cutesy ones on Amazon.
Really?
No.
That surprises me.
And I don't think they have the bee one anymore, but I was obsessed with the bee.
Oh.
I'm obsessed with the bees.
Well,
okay.
Lindsay was asking, can you do this project with no sewing experience at all? And yes.
Absolutely. You can 100% do this project with no sewing experience.
Yeah.
Like, this is super simple, super easy. And I'm not going to stitch the whole thing because, like I said, this does take some time.
Yes.
So please be aware. Like, when I say time, if it's your first time doing it, it may take you an hour. If you're experienced with sewing, it may take you 15 minutes to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If that. Okay, so let's go back overhead. This is going to be the big thing, and I'm going to take this off so you all can take a screenshot of it. This is going to be important if you are doing this on t-shirt material. This is the Fuse and Tear. It's Tear Away Embroidery Stabilizer. Now, it doesn't have to be this specific brand. However, Sewology. That's it.
That's the brand.
That's the brand. That's the brand of this little guy. Sewology. There you go. This is a must if you are embroidering on t-shirt material, okay? Because t-shirt material, it has a lot of give to it. So what this does is it stabilizes that material so it's not moving and it's not bending. It's not stretching when you embroider it. And so this is going to be very, very important when you're doing this. So, Sherry, coming in hot. The bee threader is $2.49 at Hobby Lobby.
Perfect.
Perfect. Practically perfect.
We've been saying that always.
Practically perfect in every way. I will go on there. The last time I checked, I couldn't find it. So I will go on there and send that over to be added to our description if you guys want the link to that. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Anyway, we'll talk more about this when we get to it. Scissors. These are my fabric scissors, my Trustees fabric scissors. Love them. Our fabric grip mat and a brayer.
There you go.
This is going to be our secret sauce for keeping our fabric grip mats nice and grippy.
Grippy.
Well, okay, let's go to one. If you guys have ever used felt on a mat, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like you use it one time.
You can't use it anymore.
You can't use it again.
Yep.
And it really, it makes me so mad. So, what we're going to be doing, because we're going to be adding the heat and bond to this. And I think I've seen some people cut it both ways. I like it best when you cut it with the heat and bond facing up. That is, I just feel like you get cleaner cuts that way.
It's smoother, I think, and that's why it cuts better.
Yes, so adding this felt to your fabric grip mat, you're still going to get like felt pieces when you pull it up. But anyway, so this is going to be our secret sauce when it comes to adding our felt to the mat. So let me.
I've got someone working on the link for that little bee.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have them put it in the description so y'all can snag it.
Let's get our. In a minute, let's get our computer pulled up, and I'm going to show you guys which text or which font we used for this project. So as you can see, I have the names already here. I have welded them, but we're going to try our little trick. Ha! Yes. Okay. Okay. So there is a little trick. If you have a text in your design space, if you guys did not know, and you think, I'm like, oh gosh, I have welded this. What am I gonna do? I cannot remember what font this is. Literally can't remember. Because I do this so many times. Like
Literally all the time.
I thought this was Hayden. I thought this font was Hayden. I was 100% sure this is the Hayden font. Thought I've said it all day.
You said it, yeah.
So what we're gonna do to be able to know what font we used. Now this is on a Mac, so I don't know if you can like right click on a Windows and find it out. I think you can right click on a Windows. If you are on a Mac, what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold down the Control key and click this, and then this is going to come up. This little box is gonna come up. You're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom to image info. Y'all, selected font is Lemonade. That is that has saved my life so many times. Let's do that again because I just love it. We're going to hover over our weld result, hit Control, click, or right click if you're on a Mac, scroll down to image info, selected font is Lemonade. And now you know what font to use. So now what I can do is I can come over here to text, go to my fonts. Once again, we've talked about it. Cricut did this update. So now you have to go to systems. I cannot stand this update. Anyway, we're not going to talk about it. It's a sore spot. So we're going to type in Lemonade. We're going to type in the first part of it.
Tracy said they downloaded that font yesterday. And I want to say about Lemonade, it's in a yellow on our website. And
okay, so we're going to have to download this. We're going to have to download Lemonade.
Okay. It's really cute. And well, then you guys can see. So like on our website, some of our thumbnails are in yellow, and I never choose those fonts because I'm blind and I can't see. I'm not really actually blind, but like I can't see the yellow as well. And so I just skip over the yellow thumbnail fonts. But like that font is so cute. I just used it. I don't even remember what I put it on there for, but.
So we're just going to type Lemonade if it will pull up.
A lot of people are saying thank you for the hack.
Listen, that hack has saved my life. So if you are a Maker's Gonna Learn member, obviously we have thousands of fonts for you guys. This is just one of the fonts. This is how you are going to download our fonts onto your computer. Once again, this is we use this specific computer is technically called a mini Mac. So this is on a Mac. But I think we do have a video showing you how to download your fonts on a Windows as well. Did you not do one?
I did one.
So
for
you can
your iPad, for a MacBook, and for a PC.
Yes. So what you're going to do, you don't have to click on this. However, if you want to see what you're going to be doing will look good in this, you can come over here, you can click on it, and let's just type in Ruby. I think I'm going to, not with a little R, we're going to do a big R. So cute. Ruby. So I really like that. So guess what? I'm going to download that onto my font book. So I'm going to click the little cloud icon that has the arrow pointing down. It's going to download down here. It is a zip file, so I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to unzip it, and then it pulls it up here, and I'm going to install my font onto my computer. Now, once it's installed, we're going to go back to Cricut. And this is where we've talked about this hack quite a few times too, but I like to remind you guys what to do because sometimes we have some new friends in here and they may not have seen it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make sure our project is saved. So we're gonna save our project. And then from there, I'm gonna make sure this stays on because I still need you on, buddy. We're going to go to View, and we're going to reload. Well, let me show you. So if I go into text right now, I downloaded Lemonade onto my computer, right? But we're gonna go to System. It's still not in Design Space. So what you have to do is you have to reload Design Space. So if you go to View, used to we would completely exit out of Design Space and then come back in. But if you just go to View and you hit Reload, what it's gonna do, it's going to completely reload Cricut Design Space. And now I can pop in here and grab a text, go to my fonts, go to Systems, type in Lemonade. We're just gonna type in lemon first. And bada bing, bada boom, there we have it. That's how easy that is. So easy. So now we're just gonna type in Ruby.
Love it.
Now, this is a font that if you do not weld it, it's going to, it will cut out different letters. So we're just gonna go ahead and weld this together. You can size it up, size it down. I may size it up just a little bit, we'll see. We'll just leave it like that. That looks like it's pretty good. That way it'll cut out large enough. And then we're just going to weld this together. So if you are doing the transfer tape on the mat, if you're using felt, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to change it almost every single time.
Yeah, because it gets so...
yeah, it just gets...
It's fuzzy.
Fuzzy.
Yeah, it's very fuzzy.
Yes, very good. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna click Make It. Actually, I'm going to hide these because I don't need them anymore. So we've got Ruby here. We're going to click Continue. We are doing this on our Maker 3. However, remember you can do this on an Explore series. So we're gonna browse all material. We're gonna search felt, not that felt. We're going to select our felt craft bonded because we are fixing to bond our fabric. So as you can see, it is a fine point blade. Now, one thing I want to show you guys, actually, let's go overhead and let's bond our fabric first before we cut it. So what I have here is I just have a piece of Benzie felt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our heat and bond. So I think it was like 1 inch by 4 inches. So we only have a very small section that we're going to be using. So I'm going to just we're gonna cut this off right here.
And that way you're not having to lay an entire piece of felt over the entire transfer paper.
Oh,
You're just laying down the portion that you need to actually cut out, and you can cut the same amount with the heat and bond, so you're not wasting a bunch of that either.
So now I'm just going to cover this piece of felt with this heat and bond, and then I'm just going to cut the amount that I need. And you can trim this heat and bond. So and I'll show you guys, when we get there, I'll show you how you can do this. So we are going to just cut this so that we know it covers it. So now we're done with our heat and bond. Now, what I'm doing is I have my Cricut mini press. It was actually set on 3 for some reason. All you have to do is have this set on 2. I almost use everything at a heat setting of 2.
Me too.
It's very rare that I use a heat setting of 3 with my mini press. The only time that I've ever really remembered having to use a heat setting of 3 is when I do the outdoor mats.
Oh yeah.
That's about the only time.
Yeah, 2 is a good setting, just a good standard setting. It's just like medium.
2 is a very good standard setting. So now you're going to lay your heat and bond this plastic side down, okay? Plastic side down. It's not green yet, but we're gonna go with it.
It's been on.
It's been on.
Iris is asking if this will be available for review. Yes, you can come back and watch any of our lives basically after they're done. You can come back anytime to our channel and they'll be on there. So.
Yep. So now we are just fusing this heat and bond material to our felt. So it's got it all covered. And then we're just gonna come in here and we are going to, I'm actually going to cut the excess off, get my fabric scissors back out. We are going to cut this excess off right here on the edge. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part and I'm going to pull this plastic piece up. Now you can see we have some that was over. That is fine, not a big deal. What we're gonna do is I'm just going to come in here and just trim it off because it did not bond to anything, so it's not sticky. So
can you get Benzie felt on, do you have to get it from their website or can you get it on like Amazon, or where would you recommend?
I think you can get it on Amazon, but you can, I mean, they have a great website and they have literally all of their colors on their website. I don't know that Amazon has like all of their colors. So
no, yeah, and their website has like color bundles.
Yes.
I've purchased like a vintage bohemian floral bundle one time, and it was like,
I think this is what this came from.
Oh, you know what? I bet it did, because it was like sage and blush and like all those pretty like boho colors.
Beautiful.
And so they have lots of color options on there.
So now what we're gonna do before I add this to my mat, I'm going to take a piece of our transfer tape, not use my fabric scissors, and I'm going to cut my transfer tape off.
Sherry asked, can you use heat and bond for t-shirts to make a pillow? I'm thinking you're meaning, can you use the heat and bond on pillows?
So you can use, what is going to happen is I have fused the heat and bond to this felt, but then once I cut it, I'm going to turn it over and fuse it to my t-shirt. So if that's what you're asking, yes, this side is fusible too, and I am going to fuse this side to the t-shirt as well. Yeah, okay. So what I'm doing now is I am taking the transfer tape, maybe in a minute. Y'all, I love, if I can't get it off, my transfer tape off, I like to come in here and try to tear that paper backing. It saves my life. Saves my life. So I'm laying my transfer tape down before I add my felt to my mat. And then I'm just adding this onto the transfer tape. Now what this does is this will help you to save your Cricut fabric grip mats. So I love this. So now I'm just adding my felt onto my fabric grip mat with the heat and bond, or with the transfer tape facing down and the heat and bond facing up.
So you've got mat,
yes,
transfer tape, felt,
yes,
heat and bond.
Yes,
that's
in that
the order.
In that order. So we have our mat on the bottom.
Megan wants a close-up of your nails.
Okay.
Listen, Lauren's nails always look good. Y'all have to see them every week.
There's a close-up of my nails.
We need to just start posting it on the Instagram. Lauren's nails for the week. Mine look the same as they did the beginning of August. They're still blue. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes, Sherry, the stabilizer is to stiffen the shirt so that when you go and
embroider,
the t-shirt doesn't move. I'm just using, so we're just using the Caesar. Shout out to Caesar again.
Shout out to Caesar.
I feel like we're a brand video right now.
It wasn't on purpose. We really love Caesar.
This is just their standard grip adhesive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We use it for everything.
Everything.
We use it for everything. It's my favorite.
Okay, I think I braid this down good enough. Yes. I think we're good. So now we're gonna hop back over to Design Space. This is where it is going to be important, because remember, we are fusing the heat and bond that is facing up onto our t-shirt. So just like with heat transfer vinyl, we are going to have to mirror our text or mirror our image, okay? So we are mirroring our image because what we're gonna do, let's go overhead. We've mirrored our image because what we're gonna do is I'm going to take this off and then I will turn it this way so that this side of the heat and bond will fuse to our onesie. Does that make sense? I don't want to get you guys confused because it can be confusing. So back to Design Space, we have mirrored our text. We're going to click done. Then all we have to do now is we are going to add our mat to our Cricut. We have our fine point blade here. Once again, we talked at the top of the show about how Cricut has a quote-unquote fabric bonded blade. Once again, guys, this is just it's just a fine point blade. It's a 45-degree angle fine point blade.
And I will sometimes like rig it because I like to use a rotary blade to cut felt.
I do like to use a rotary blade. Like if I had my choice, I would use a rotary blade to cut felt. I just like it.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I wanted to make sure that our friends who have an Explore series was able to do this one as well. So that's why we are doing the bonded felt. So if you have an Explore series, you can't use the adaptive tools. So these are, let's see, let's find one. Here's one. These are the adaptive tools, and this is the rotary blade. So these are only available to use if you have a Maker series. So this is why we did the bonded, so that you only have to use a fine point blade.
Oh, because it'll still cut. I mean, it still cuts.
I take that back. Oh, we do have a pink blade that I have
never used. We should have used it today.
We should have.
What is it doing?
Sorry, guys, I lied to you. We do have a bonded fabric blade.
That's
I didn't know
hilarious.
these existed.
I know, and it's literally been
It's
in that.
literally right here.
That's
Literally. So I'm just using regular pressure.
Yes.
Just using regular pressure. Please look. Please
Is it
look.
red button of doom?
It's the red button of death.
This happens a lot with fabric, you all, and we're about to release a video on how to actually fix this, but you know what? Let's do some live troubleshooting.
Let's do some live troubleshooting. Okay.
This
So,
is particularly why I like to use the rotary blade.
This is particularly why she likes to use the rotary blade.
Even though you can do it with the fine point blade, so maybe we should try it with the pink. Maybe we should try the
Let's just try it.
Because we obviously never use it.
Right.
We never use that pink blade, so it's going to be like brand spanking new probably.
Yep.
Honestly, it's probably opened, used once, and then put in there and then never touched again.
We gonna do it. And I'm not sure why. Listen, we have issues out of this Cricut anyway.
Well, so we had a Maker 3 in here, and then it was broken, and we got it replaced, and then we're still having some issues out of it. I'm a Maker girl, ride or die. Maker through and through for me.
Yeah.
But the Maker, a lot of other people have good luck with the Maker 3s. I love the Maker, though. That's just my favorite
So
one.
we're going back over here. We're gonna try this again. And I literally, when I tell you guys, I literally just cut felt a while ago with my Maker series, like my original Maker. Not a problem.
We just cut it.
Not a problem.
Yeah, no issues. So we'll see. I think it'll do fine. I think the new blade will do fine. So maybe it's either the blade or the machine. Also, if you guys were at, I think it was our last live, I was talking about tech wrap and how I could not get it to cut. There's something wrong with my machine.
It was not her. It was
not the
housing.
vinyl. Yes,
it was the housing.
It was the housing. And so I have to get the housing fixed on my machine. But I'll also say, it's hard to find a good transfer tape for tech wrap, and I think they want you to use their transfer tape because when you order the tech wrap vinyl, they want it, they like send it with transfer tape, if that makes sense.
You know what I'm gonna do?
What?
I'm gonna tape this down. Like we're gonna
Tape it
make sure
down.
it is not
Y'all
going
know
nowhere.
we use the painter's tape like every day. I use the painter's tape every day. It's my favorite.
If
my
I
favorite
ever
tool.
question if something is on my mat is going to move,
Tape it down.
tape it down.
Yeah,
I don't know why this did this. This kind of like really upsets me.
So did it move the fabric? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think it moved the fabric. I've not had this issue, but we're gonna tape it down just to be on the safe side, y'all.
Did you use that tack of transfer tape underneath it earlier? Or did you use a different tack?
No, I used the Caesar. It was fine. No issues whatsoever.
Someone said if you weren't bonding the felt to anything, would you just use the transfer tape and felt? Yes. But the cut settings would be different because
Yes.
if it's not bonded to anything, you would just cut it under like a wool felt. I think it's a wool felt setting. And it may not use a fine point blade. It probably would have to use like a rotary blade, if I had to guess. I don't think I've cut felt not bonded.
If it's not bonded, you have to use a rotary blade, yes.
Yeah.
Let's pray to the Cricut gods.
Pray to the Cricut gods. I have trust issues.
But let's just
with
pray to
this.
Jesus. Let's just straight up pray to Jesus, pray to God where this is going to work.
Oh my gosh.
The devil is messing with the church's money.
Yeah. That's what Tanner always says. A lot of people don't have issues with the Maker 3. I'm not being a hater. I just love my Maker. Like my specific machine I use, like I don't want to change my machine out. I want to use that one all the time. So, but customer service is super helpful, especially with Cricut. One time my machine messed up and they FaceTimed me. Okay, they FaceTimed me to fix it, and then we couldn't fix it, so we sent it back and they sent us a new one, which was awesome. What's it doing? It didn't do it again?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Honky tonk.
Honky tonk, but donka donk.
Do you want me to go try to cut it outside?
No,
and you can
because
show them the
I think I know what the issue is.
Okay.
I seriously think it's this transfer tape because it's coming up off the transfer tape.
Oh, like it's not sticky enough.
Uh-huh.
You want me to, look, I've got a whole box of transfer tape
Do
right
we have
here.
a strong grip right there?
We show enough do.
We gonna do it again.
Well, I've got, no, I have the regular Cricut, which I know is really tacky. Do you want me to go get some strong grip though? Let me go get strong grip.
I mean, I used this transfer tape a while ago. I don't know that we have strong grip.
We had some, but we might have went through it. Do you want to show them how to do the embroidery portion and we can come back?
No, because this is important.
Very
You know what?
important.
We're just gonna do it on the mat. I don't like to do it on the mat, but we don't have any strong grip.
Yeah, okay,
transfer
that's
tape.
fine.
Okay, so I told y'all to use the transfer tape, and of course, when we go live, I have issues with the transfer tape. So if you do the transfer tape, use a strong grip, not what we just did. Like I said, I don't understand. I did this before, no issues.
The strong grip will just ensure that like it's definitely not coming up.
Yep. So I'm going to take my fabric scissors and I'm just going to cut this part off.
Cut it.
Cut it off.
You want to make sure whenever you're using like fabric and felt that everything is flat.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of thick anyways, especially when you're layering, like you've got the mat, you've got the transfer, you've got the bonded and the fabric. It just needs to be, the brayer is really good for making sure everything's laid completely down flat.
Yeah.
And that, I think that will cause the issues. Like especially.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
That looks good.
That look good.
Good. Okay. Going back to this, we're going to edit our mat, make sure it's in the right spot.
Yeah, always go back to Design Space and check if you're like recutting the same thing. I feel like sometimes you got to make some adjustments.
To probably just wait for a minute. I need to edit.
Oh,
why is it doing this? Okay, we're going to go to cancel. We're going to go to yes. Okay, there we go. We're going to move her. Let's put Ruby right here in the middle. Maybe she'll work right there.
yeah.
And then we're going to go to continue.
Diane says, I have no issues with you showing us what not to do. Which,
Listen,
that's what we're here for, honestly.
Make sure that you use a strong grip. I bet you money I used all of the strong grip transfer tape when I was doing my leather stuff.
We probably need to get some more.
Yeah. Okay, so felt. Going back to felt. Felt. Bonded.
So still the same cut settings.
Still the same cut settings. We are using our pink blade, our fabric blade, which I did it with a regular blade, just FYI, fine point. Mm-hmm. Works the same.
That's what you've used for all of it, haven't you?
Yes.
Sue said, I love my brayer. I love the brayer.
Listen.
Even just for like a regular, like I use it on paper projects. I use it for vinyl projects. I just love the brayer.
Yeah.
It's really on there. And sometimes if I use like a burnishing tool, it'll like scratch my vinyl and that bothers me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
it leaves little
100%.
streak marks. I'm not about that. Stuff Lauren's using today.
Stop it. It's doing it again.
Oh no. Lorraine, yes, the regular fine point blade is the same as the pink blade. It's just pink, has a pink housing.
You know what we're gonna do?
What are you doing?
I'm just cutting it this way.
Okay. Oh, with the felt up.
Yeah, we're going to try it this way. See if this is the problem. I've always cut it with the felt facing down, so I don't.
You think maybe it's just getting caught up in that
I think
heat
it might
bond?
just be this Cricut. I think it might just be this Cricut.
I'm not going to say you're wrong. So you don't need to mirror it now.
Now we're going to go back. So if you're having this issue, I always say cut it with the bonded side up.
Yeah, normally I do too. Like when I did the Stony Clover dupe video, I put the bonded side facing up and then mirrored my image. But now that you're not doing that, we won't.
Yeah. So let's try this again. Bray it down. Pray to Jesus.
It's like the more it messes up, the harder Lauren brays it down. She's like aggressively braying the felt down.
It's
like,
probably going to cut
it.
right there where the masking tape is. It's okay. We're going to edit our mat. Actually, we're going to click done, and then we're going to come back here and make it again. The mirror is off. We are going to pull Ruby to the, okay, so we've got, yeah, it's just going to cut through this tape a little bit. We're going to move our tape.
It's always good to check. Sue asked if we needed to calibrate our Cricut, and I don't think that's what the problem is right now. We may need to calibrate our Cricut though, but I think
the issue right now is honestly just this Cricut.
It's, yeah, we just have had issues.
I'm like, I hate that you all are seeing us mess up, but at the same time, I don't hate that you all are seeing us mess up. We are normal crafters too.
Yeah.
And we literally mess up every day.
Right. You guys, we do a lot of like trial and error, we'll say. Lots of trial and error.
Yeah. Okay. Once again, we're coming in here. And I'm pretty sure the name of this video is Master Cutting Felt with Your Cricut.
We love that for our journey.
We love that for ourselves. We love that for our journey. That is great. But you all know that sometimes it just doesn't work. And I don't know.
But you know what? We're going to be masters because we're going to know what not to do, is what I think. And honestly.
But what kills me is I cut this the first time and it cut like butter. I had zero issues.
So here you go. Just start check. This is like being a parent. I feel like I have a checkbox in my head and I'm like, okay, that didn't work. Let's move to the next thing.
Okay.
That didn't work. Let's move to the next.
Okay. Let's go overhead.
Did it do it?
Y'all.
Tell me.
You just look at this. Watch.
Tell me it did it.
Stop. It was perfect.
All right. Well, you heard
there
it
you
here.
Go. You heard
if
it
you're
here.
using a Maker 3 and a fine point blade, just put the felt facing up. And then if you're using a Maker out there with a fine point blade bonded side up.
Listen, I think it's everybody's Cricut is going to be different.
It is, because I think we did a project recently and someone was like, I'm using your exact settings and it's still not doing it. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what else to do because that was like what my machine did. So don't be scared to play around.
I cut. Can they hear that?
Can y'all hear the rain? It is coming a downpour.
Okay. So there you have it. There we go.
She's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls.
Ruby's not. My baby is in 12 months and she's 9 months old. She's wearing 12 to 18 months.
So this is not going to fit her and that's okay.
It's still cute though.
We love it. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to get my tweezers and I am actually going to pull this up. Now this is going to be the only issue with this is tacking this down. So the easiest way, you can push this down and it will stay a little bit. So that will stay. So we're just doing the middle part first. But once that stays a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it inside out with my hand here so that it kind of stays in place. And then I'm just going to hit it from the back side too. Can they see that? Is that in focus?
It looks like you're in frame from over here.
We're hitting that from the back side so that heat and bond fuses. So then we're going to turn her back around. And then we're going to place our R. Now, if you wanted to use, you could use the, what am I trying to think of? Heat transfer tape.
Yeah.
I think it's just easier to do this. Just place your letters. And then we're just going to hit for just a second.
And it bonds really quickly.
Yeah. Remember, we're just hitting for a second because I don't want to lose the look of the felt completely, and then we're going to turn it inside out. Actually, that one didn't fuse. I didn't hit it long enough. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it.
So, okay, so a couple of people are saying, can you say the steps again? LaShonda, this will be on a replay, so if you want to go back and watch from the beginning, which I think we started, if you go back and rewatch it, we started crafting at about 15 minutes in, because we were doing an unboxing and all that.
Oh, I was about to say, how far are we in?
We are right at the hour mark, so you're fine, you're fine. But yeah, a lot of people loving the font.
So now we're flipping it. This Y didn't stay, but it's okay. We're gonna, right there. And then we've got it inside out. And then we're gonna hit it from the back. So now, here is going to be the important step for when you are doing embroidery on a t-shirt. Now you could stop right here. This is the step we're at. This is just Braden's. This is not Ruby's. So this is the step we're at. You technically could stop here. You could stop here.
And it's cute.
And it's super cute.
Yeah.
However, if you want to add the embroidery detail, like the one on Carson's, what we're going to do is we are going to add a fabric stabilizer. Now this is a tearaway, so you fuse it with your mini press, and then once you're done, you tear it away. Now you can layer this. You can do multiple layers of this. You don't have to do just one layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that it covers our whole name, covers the name Ruby. There are two sides to this. There's like a paper side, and then there's like you can tell what side is going to bond to your fabric. So you are going to do, it's kind of like the slick side. It doesn't feel like paper. And we are going to place it, and it's going, you can feel through this. It's going to cover up your name. You're going to take your mini press once again at a heat setting of 2, and we are going to bond this to the back of the onesie. Just like
I didn't know
this.
that you could layer that. That's
yes,
cool.
you can. I'm actually going to add a second layer.
Oh.
Just to show you guys that you can add layers.
And so this isn't the kind that washes away.
No, so there is a water-soluble kind. However, the water-soluble kind is one that you have to pin in, and then you stitch through it. It's not, you don't fuse it. There may be a fusible.
Yeah.
Now, I have, let's go to camera 1. There is a video where I teach you how to add an embroidery design like using your Cricut pins. It is called Stick and Stitch. So it's
it just came out.
But it's not a stabilizer.
Okay.
It's more or less just a template for your design.
Yes, which that video is really cool. If you guys are getting into embroidery, go check that out.
Check that out. So we'll go back to camera 2, go overhead. So here I'm adding the second layer.
Okay, and so you don't peel it off. You just iron it on, and then put on
literally
another layer.
iron it on.
Oh.
And you leave it on there. And so it makes this fabric so it doesn't move. Okay?
Okay.
So there's that, and then I'm going to place this to the side, and I already have some of the stabilizer on the back of this one for Braden. What you're going to do then, you're going to take your embroidery hoop. What I've done is I've taken the inside of the embroidery hoop, put it up through the onesie, and then taken the outside, unscrewed it, stretched it over the top. Okay? So what I have done here is I have threaded my needle, and I can just show you guys how I like to start. We'll do that real quick, and I'll show you with this one. So I've just taken my thread, cut that. What I'm going to do before I thread my needle, I will add about 3 knots in it. You can do 2 or 3, whatever makes you comfortable. 1 I just don't feel like is enough. So we'll add 2 knots in the bottom of our thread.
So if you just did one, it would just like go right up through your fabric once you sew it in, especially if you're using a bigger needle. So you don't want to use a needle bigger than your thread, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So I just pull down until I reach where I've knotted that first one, kind of pull it through, and then pull it tight. Now, what I like to do, this is the lifesaver. Used to, I would, you know how old school, just lick my thread and try my best to get it through there. This is so much easier to me. You stick your needle threader through the eye of your needle, put your embroidery thread through that in a minute.
I'm watching this very intently. I always lick it and put it through.
And then move this back and forth.
Oh.
And that's it.
Oh, that's magic.
And then we have started our thread.
Cool.
Now, as you can see, I have already started on this one. So what you do is you're going to come up through the bottom and then back down at point A. So look, coming up through the bottom at point A, right here, coming up through point A, down through point B. Here we have come up through point C, back into point B. So I'll show you guys here. So this is just called a back stitch. This is a very simple back stitch. And this one is one you can back stitch through the exact same hole, or you can back stitch if you're filling in. Some people will back stitch in about the middle. That's more like a brick stitch, I guess you could do it that way. So what we're doing is we're coming, which I'm trying to show you guys and then see it as well. So coming up, can you see that? Can they see that? Up through this point. So we're going to call this point, we went A, B, C. We're going to call that one D. We're coming up through point D. I'm using they asked me what kind of thread I'm using. I'm just using the DMC thread. This is the 8mm, yes, the 8mm, I think. Anyway, I'm using all strands. I did not split these strands. I'm using all strands. You can split these strands, but I'm using them all. So up through point B, we're going to pull that tight, and then we're going to go back down through point C. So I'm just going back down in through that hole right there, and then pulling it through.
Well.
And then once again, and I'm really trying to see, guys, and show you guys so you can see. So we're going back up. You're going to want to try to keep it in the middle of your letters as best as possible. Yeah, this is a committed relationship with an embroidery machine would be great. So we're coming up, and then once again back down through the hole, going to back stitch it in here, and then pulling it through.
So easy.
And then you're just going to continue that. You are going to continue that through the whole name. Now, there may be some instances where you may have to get creative. Like this, the hook of this B, for example, you may have to come back down in here. You can then cut it and tie it off if you want to. If you don't want a lot of threads going every which way, I would probably come back down on this, knot that and tie it off, and then start back up here and come through right here, knot it, tie it off, and then where this connects, you can just go through the whole thing. Well, I might knot it and tie it off at the Y. But once again, up, and then you're going to back stitch through that hole and then pull it down and then finish it out. And I'm just going to be real honest. We'll go to one. We're not going to do this whole thing on the live. Because it would take me a while. And
someone did say this is very satisfying to watch, which I agree. I was I got my mouth open over here watching you sew, which I think that embroidery is relaxing in itself.
It is such a relaxing thing to do, especially of the evenings, which I'm the type of person, I go back and forth on. Let's just come sit down and chat for a minute.
Yeah, here, let me move my stuff over.
I love embroidering. It's one of those things where of the evenings, it's something that I can just mindlessly do.
Yeah.
It's a mindless activity.
You can just kind of get it set up and start.
That's a good question. How do you tie it off? Well, let me just go show you how to tie it off.
Show us, please.
I needed to show you how to tie it off.
Yes.
So, once you are ready to tie it off, we're going to try to flip this inside out really quick.
And if y'all are curious about really getting into embroidery and you're wanting to kind of like up your crafting game, the Maker University is a great place to go for that, because Lauren does a very in-depth detail on embroidery and like all the stitches. I don't know how many.
Not
did you have,
all
10?
the stitches. Listen,
It was like 12
There
though.
are so many stitches. I think I covered 10 or 12.
There was a lot. And the project's really cute. It's a rainbow.
Yes.
It's very cute.
Super cute.
Yeah.
So, how to tie this off. This is, I feel like everybody has their own way of tying things off. This is how I do it. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to come back through. So, I know you all probably can't see. I'm trying my best. So, my thread was on this side of my stitch, so I'm going to come over my stitch back through this bottom portion. You see how I'm doing that there? Back through there, and then I'm literally bringing it around and pulling it through that loop and just knotting it. Which that was a little, that's pretty loose. That's a loose knot. I would do it tighter than that. So we're just going to come back through here. Make sure your embroidery is tight before you knot it, before you tie it off, because you can have issues if it's not. This just, I don't know why this messed up. So we're going to pull this and then pull it down and pull it tight right there. And then you cut that off. And
so
that's how you knot it off.
wash it with the, like with that stabilizer? I'm assuming you can wash it with the stabilizer.
So what you do with the stabilizer is once you are done, this literally tears away. So you just tear it away.
Oh,
and you're done.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is not, you'll tear this stabilizer off once you have finished. Mm-hmm. So this is the tear away kind. So you're gonna tear it all off, it will come off, and then you just wash it. This is just to help keep your fabric so it doesn't, you see how this part right here, when I stretch it this way, it doesn't move, but this is still like super stretchy.
Yeah.
This is what the stabilizer does. It keeps it from moving.
Love that.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name is Lauren and I am a craft educator here at Maker's Gonna Learn, and today we're gonna be bringing you the Cricut hacks that you need for embroidery that you didn't even know that you needed. In today's video, we are going to be learning a basic embroidery stitch, as well as how we can use our Cricut to create a pattern to embroider on any type of material that you would like. We're now gonna go overhead and jump right into everything you're gonna need to get this project started. Now that we're overhead, as you can see, there's really not a whole lot of materials that we need for this project. Our main material that we're gonna be working with today is going to be the printable stick and stitch. Now, this is something that you can actually print the design from your printer onto this, but we are going to be using the Cricut pins to create a design, and then we're going to lay this on the article of clothing that we want. So as you can see today, we're going to be embroidering some shorts. You do not have to do jeans. You can do other material, but I will say if you're going to do like a t-shirt or a t-shirt type material, you are going to need a backer for that, or a stabilizer. And what that's going to do is, because cotton likes to stretch a lot, as you can see, this denim is actually a stretchy denim as well, but we're able to stretch that on the hoop so it doesn't move around as much as like a cotton t-shirt. So if you do like a t-shirt or a cotton t-shirt, make sure that you do use a stabilizer on the back, that way that it keeps it nice and flat. Obviously you're going to need some type of article of clothing. We have an embroidery needle. This is something that you can get at your local craft store or Amazon. We have embroidery floss. You are going to use whatever color that you desire. Today we're going to be using a sage green and a hot pink for our palm leaves. And then you're going to need an embroidery hoop. We're going to be using Cricut pins and a fabric grip mat. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be fabric grip. Actually, this fabric grip mat is pretty light on the tack, so we're just using this today. If you have a standard grip mat and you don't have a fabric grip mat, you can do that and just tape the edges of your stick and stitch down to your mat so that it doesn't move when the Cricut starts writing or tracing that design on the printable stick and stitch. Another thing that's going to come in very helpful when you are creating your design is going to be a measuring tape. That way you can measure the area that you are wanting to embroider, and that measurement you can transfer over to Design Space so that when your Cricut starts to draw it on your printable stick and stitch, it has it perfectly laid out for you. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into Design Space so that we can start the process of teaching you how to create your design. Now that we are over here in Cricut Design Space, as you can see, I already have the design that I want, but I'm going to hide this and I'm going to show you step by step how you're going to be able to create this. So we're going to go over here to the Maker's Gonna Learn website, and you're going to click Cut Files. From there, you're just going to search the word leaf, which I have already done. You can choose whatever pattern you want. I actually started off trying to use a sunset on the back pocket, but with these shorts specifically, it just did not work. You can do any type of floral leaves. However, I am only going to be showing you one stitch today. Now, if learning embroidery is something you want to do, there are multiple stitches, but we're just going to go over one stitch. So I'm going to use this Monstra leaf right here. You are going to download that onto your computer. So you're going to click this little cloud icon, and as you can see, it downloads down here as a zip file. Now, this is a PNG, so it's technically a print then cut image. However, we're going to turn it into a basic cut once we get back over to Design Space. So we're going to go over to Design Space. We're going to go to Upload. I already have this upload, but I do want to walk you all through this process. We're going to upload the image. We're going to click Browse. We're going to scroll down and find the PNG. Here we have leaf 2, leaf 2, same thing. We're going to open this up. Now we're going to click Complex. And as you can see, it comes up with the complex image. We're going to apply and continue. Now here is where you have the option to turn it from a print and cut image to a basic cut. So if you wanted to print this image onto the stick and stitch from your printer, you can do that. So the stick and stitch is a washable medium, so even if you did print it and it come up like this, that's going to wash away, so it's really just going to waste a lot of ink. So we're just going to be choosing the basic cut image. I just wanted you all to realize that you can print it on the stick and stitch, but it's not necessary. So from there, we're going to upload that. We're going to select it and add it to our canvas. Now this does pull up very large. So if you go up to the top to the size, here we're just going to size this down. We're going to start at 5 inches. Now it is locked, so it's going to automatically size the other side down. Looks like we have 2, so we're going to delete this one out. So now we have a leaf that is 5 inches in width and 5.34 inches in height. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go overhead real quick. Now this is going to really depend on where you want your design. As you can see, I've already started on this side. Now I'm not going to add anything on this side. I'm just going to show you how to do this. This was just so I started this so it wouldn't be such a long process to finish this whole thing. So what we're going to do is we are going to measure how much space that we can take up on the leg of these shorts. So if you wanted to do it on the front leg, you can turn it around if you wanted to do something on the pocket. Either way, you're going to measure and see how much room you have to work with, and that's how big your design is going to be. So once we've measured and we've determined how large of an area we have to work with, so we're going to go with about 6.5 or so, I'd say comfortably by about like 5. So once we've measured, we're going to go back to Design Space, And we're going to maybe size this down just a tad, and then we are going to duplicate it, because for this design, I have 2 monster leaves, and I'm going to change the color of the second one to green. And I actually wanted to size this one even smaller than the first one, and then I'm going to rotate it to the side just a little bit. And this is where you can line up these leaves however you want. I think I want to rotate this one down just a little bit. And then we'll bring this one about right here. Either way, this is where it's going to be a personal preference, how you want to do this, but the end result is going to be the same. So once you have positioned your images, now if you can do multiple, you can do 3 or 4. So if there were other leaves you wanted to add in, that is fine, you can do that. But what we're fixing to do next, I want you to remember that you can only do with 2 images at a time. So what I'm going to do, because really and truly, so let's turn both of these into a pin function, because they are going to be a pin function by the time this is over. So we're going to just go ahead and turn both of these into a pin function. So as you can see, this middle portion right here is very convoluted. It's very, has a lot going on, because as of right now, this bottom leaf, this Cricut recognizes, okay, I'm going to draw this whole bottom leaf. So if you do that, you're going to have these lines going through the middle of the leaf that you want on top, and that's not something that we want. So we're going to change these back into basic cut. So as you can see, we want this top leaf to be solid, and we just want the lines that we see in between, and we can zoom in. We just want these lines to kind of poke through and not run through the top of this, through the whole part of this leaf. So what we're going to do is we are going to select both of these leaves, and we're going to go down here to the bottom right, and we're going to click slice. Now, it's going to make it look all funky, but just hold on with me. Do not go and click and drag any of this. Please do not. We're going to work from our layers panel over here. We're not going to be clicking and dragging. So this portion, I can't zoom in, but this portion is our bottom leaf with the top leaf out. This is what we want to keep. What we do not want to keep is the portion that is going to be laying under our top leaf. So this is part of the top leaf. This is why we changed the colors. The green is part of the top leaf, and this green is part of the top leaf. What we do not want is this part of the black leaf. So we're going to delete this out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select this slice result as well as this slice result. From there, we are going to weld them together. And that puts our leaf back to its original shape. Now, if I move this leaf, you can see that there is a perfect outline of where this leaf is supposed to go. And that is how the Cricut is going to recognize, hey, I don't need to draw where this leaf goes, I just need to draw around it. So we're going to go back so we can move that back. From there, we're going to select them both, go up to Operation, we're going to change it to Pin Function. Now you can really see how there are no lines that are going to be drawn through the top part of this leaf. So we're going to select the top part and change it to the color that we want. We're going to be using a hot pink, we'll just use raspberry, and then we're going to select the bottom portion, and that is going to be our green. So we're just going to select sour apple. And that is the color scheme that we're going to be going for. Now, the next thing that you need to do, select them both. We are going to click Attach. We are not going to weld. We are just going to attach them, okay? Attach is what you need here, not weld. So let's show you what, if you detach it, and let's say we select these both, and we weld this together, what it's going to do, it's going to make it all one image, and that is not something we want. We don't want to weld, never weld. not with this. So we're just going to select them both again, bottom right-hand corner, attach. From there, you can see that our size, remember we said we could work with about a 6.5 by 5, 6.5 in width, 5 by height. We're a little over the 5, but that's okay. We're way under that 6.5. So now what we're gonna do is we are just going to click Make It. As you can see, it puts it on our mat for us. We're going to click Continue. Once we have selected our maker, we are going to just choose heavy cardstock because this is the pen function. So it is not going to matter really what material because it's still going to be able to draw on that. So as you can see, this says load sour apple pen into clamp A. We're going to go over to our Cricut. We're going to take our Cricut pen. We are going to load it into clamp A. And then we're going to go overhead. We are going to put our stick and stitch on our mat. And then we are going to head back over to our Cricut and load this into our Cricut. Once it is ready, we're going to click play. Once your Cricut has finished with the first color, it's going to tell you to load your second color in. So we are going to go to our Cricut and pull out our sour apple pen, and then we are going to load in our pink color. You always want to make sure that click. You always want to make sure when you are loading in your markers that you hear that click. Now, if you do not have Cricut pens, one thing that you may have to do if you are working with like Crayola pens is you may have to open up your clamp. But if you are working with Cricut pens, you don't have to. Just wait for the click and then hit play. Once it is done, we're going to unload that and then we can go overhead. Now, as you can see, this still drew the green part inside where the green and the pink mix, but one way that you can keep that from happening or just remind yourself, you could start with this pink and everything that connects to this pink leaf, you will embroider that first. That way you can come back in here and add in your little green touches after you're finished. So once that has finished drawing, all you're going to do, you are going to take it off of your mat. We are going to grab a pair of scissors and we are just going to trim around the outside of our design, and then it will be ready to place on your garment. So I'm going to show you how to place it on your garment. As you can see, I already have this on here, but I'm going to show you how you can. This is where you're going to basically use your own judgment, your own creativity, how you want to place things. But we are going to take the back off of our stick and stitch. And then this side is what is going to attach, what's going to lay down on your fabric. So if you want your leaves pointing up, I think it would be cute for them to be on the side. Obviously this design was a little bigger than this one, so if I were to do a smaller design, I would probably do it on the side here. Or if you wanted to do it on the back portion, you can do that. Just know if you do it on the back through the pocket, you are going to want to make sure it's going to be hard to go through both layers of denim here at this pocket. So you may have to come in toward the back and just go through this single layer of denim, which may not be for a beginner. That may be more of, once you have mastered embroidery, that may be more of an advanced thing that you can work on. But for a beginner, that's why we started on the front. So you will place your design where you want it. You're just going to lay it down. And then you are going to choose your hoop. Now this hoop is, I probably could have gone down a size. This is actually a 8-inch embroidery hoop. So I probably could have gone down to a 7 for this size. For this size I couldn't, I had to have an 8-inch. So the size of your embroidery hoop is going to depend on the size of your garment of clothing and the size of your design. So how to place this on, you're going to put your hoop up through the bottom of your garment, and then you would lay the top piece down. This screws and unscrews. So you're gonna lay this top piece down, pull it apart, and then lay it over top of the bottom piece. So with this, you need to make sure that you are not working around the pockets, because if there is any little bit of extra fabric when you are laying your embroidery hoop down, it's going to be a little harder to get it on. So make sure this goes on, push it down and around, and then we're just going to tighten this up. And then from there you can pull your fabric tight. Normally it pulls it pretty tight. The hoop itself pulls your fabric fairly tight, so you a lot of times don't have to come back in and tighten it. But then you are going to be ready to start embroidering. And I'm going to show you our stitch on this half of our design. Once we have our design, I'm now going to teach you just this basic back stitch that we're going to be doing to create this. So when you are starting embroidery, you need to tie your ends off. Now I'm gonna probably put 2 or 3 knots in the end, just because with this one specifically, we will be washing these blue jeans, and I definitely do not want this knot to come undone. So normally I do 2, but today I'm definitely gonna be doing 3. You could even do 4 if you really wanted to. That's gonna be totally up to you. So now that we've got 3 knots in there, we've got a pretty good size piece of embroidery floss. We are going to thread our needle. Now this is something that if you are really good, you can do this yourself, or you can use a needle threader if your eyesight is not the best. So what you would do with a needle threader is you're just going to put this through the eye of your needle. Then you are going to put your embroidery floss through that loop, and then we're just going to pull it through. Now what I like to do is I like to pull the end of my floss pretty far down. That way I can keep shortening it as I go. So we've doubled our floss, and now we're going to start the process of embroidery. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna embroider along this line. So when you come up, you are going to come up on the line. Now you always need to come up through your fabric first. That way your knot is on the inside of your fabric. And then we're gonna just come back down on this line. One thing that tends to help, especially to help not get our embroidery floss tangled, is to try to keep one end in your hand, because trust me, it will get tangled very easy, and it can be very frustrating when it does that. So once we have our first stitch, we are going to come back up on the line. As you can see, it's gotten tangled up and under here. One thing is, when you start out with a lot of embroidery floss, there is a good chance that it's going to get tangled, but that's okay. Just be easy, don't jerk it. So we're gonna untangle this real quick. Pull it on through, and then we're gonna go back right in the middle of this previous stitch, and then pull it through. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to continue coming up on the line, and back down through the middle of the previous stitch until you have completed your design. Now that we have completely finished with our embroidery, we are going to take our hoop off, and I'm going to show you guys how this material is water soluble and will come apart or come away. You can tear it away once you finish. So once you're done, what you're going to do is you are going to take your article of clothing and you are going to get it wet. And as you can see, this literally starts dissolving as it gets wet. And so you're just gonna go through and pick all of that off. And really and truly, if you wanted to just throw these in the wash once you're done, you can do that. But I wanted you all to see on video how this is just water soluble and just comes away as soon as it gets wet. So once that's done, we're gonna wring this out so we don't get the table so soaked. And then we will throw these in the wash and they will be done. But already you can see how cute these are and how fun for summer this would be. I hope that you all enjoyed that embroidery hack using your Cricut. I know I'm super excited about being able to use all of the Maker's Gonna Learn cut files and turning them into the pin function so that I can use them as a template for embroidery. If you are new to our channel, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel, and check out our website if you are interested in learning all about our education videos and cut files that we have available to you. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.